I get asked to do usability testing quite a lot. They never call it that. And usability testing is exactly what you think it is, which is when I use your website, are there any problems? Is it a good website to use? Is it a pleasant experience? Do you accomplish your goals and aims and so on? And I do that all the time. Every website job ever, you do usability testing. You don't tell anyone because no one pays for that. Not unless you're a big company. I remember I thought usability testing in 2001. I thought that is it. This is the business you want to be in. Website usability testing, because there's so many bad websites out there that look lovely and terrible to use. But this is the one. I'm going to go into this. And I actually bought usability consultant as the domain name. Built a website. I thought this is it. This is the niche I need. Never sold anything on that one. That was a pretty good website too. Easy to use. So usability testing, I think, has no commercial power in the marketplace unless you're a big company, understand what you mean. But however big your company is, whether you're one man or one woman band or a bigger company, usability testing is everything you should be doing. And so I've called this live stream the best web book you'll ever read because it is exactly this. So I use this a lot. I've read it a few times. I don't keep books, not really. I read them and donate them or pass them on. But this book I have kept since 1999. My employer at the time bought me this book. It wasn't cheap. I think it was about 50 quid. Because I said, oh, this guy, this Jacob Neeson chap, if you look him up, he looks quite not. Well, anyway, he looks quite intelligent, if you know what I mean. And I thought, I'll read this, Designing web usability, most boring cover in the world. If you went to his website at the time, it was just text. You're like, this is rubbish, web book. But actually, once you get into it, it's amazing. Now, this is my 1999 copy. Which you'd ask me, wouldn't you? So why did you keep a book that's 20 years old? What can you still learn about the internet 20 years later from old text? I mean, when we think about it, we didn't even have broadband when he wrote this book, and it's still the most relevant website book I have. And I'm going to turn to a page. What shall we turn to? I bring it up because today I'm doing this kind of thing. I'm going through people's websites at the end, snagging them. I talked about that before, to basically ensure that they actually are nice websites to use and convert people into sales and so on. And I've got some methods of testing. And as with normal usability testing, there are several methods available for testing international usability. That's a thought, isn't it? Which is, you build your website here, but if you sell online abroad or export services abroad, and everybody does, have you thought about international usability testing? And it's so simple. That's what I like about it. It's got remote user testing. It's got some quite big words and stuff. What it means is ask someone in the destination country to use your website, which I think is an excellent plan, and even obvious. Self-administered tests. What else we got in here? This book is amazing. The bit I always remember, though, and that's the bit I'm going to talk about rather than flick through here. He did write 2 books. I've got this one too, which cost me about 50, 60 quid as well. I actually bought that one. And I got about this far. I don't understand a word he's on about, because this is a technical book. Usability heuristics. Probably said that wrong. What else we got? Craziness. It's all like physics and I don't know. Anyway, it didn't do it for me because I like simple. And this is a academic book for what I call corporate level, large scale usability. So that one I kept because it cost me a lot of money. But this is the one I remember and use. And if you ever get a chance to get a copy of this, you should read it. But the bit I remember from just in general, rather than the book itself, is called Home Run Theory, which stands for, and this is 20 years ago, but still relevant. And this is the step process in my mind I follow when I look at anybody's website. Actually, it's the first thing I do. So if anybody says to me, I want to work with you, or they say, what do you think of my website, or anything like that, the first thing I do is I'll do this home run theory, which is home, which stands for, it's Americanism, isn't it? But how do you hit a home run in the internet? H, which is high value content. What does that mean? It means that you've got high value content relevant to the user. Yeah, so high value content means good pictures, good text, no weaknesses. That's the first thing I'll do is I'll look through someone's website and say, well, why have you put that picture there? There's too many pictures there. That doesn't add anything, just putting in words, welcome and things like, what, really? So, that high value content's got to be brilliant, brilliant content, more so now than ever before. Often updated. When he wrote that book, it was 56K modems. Okay, that's worth bearing in mind. But even then, he was like, often updated. Websites must be often updated to keep the user informed, the customer. Yeah, otherwise it's just a static brochure, and that's not the power of the internet. So it's high value content, often updated, minimum download speed, 56K modem. You imagine downloading one of the pictures or videos we use today on 56K, you wouldn't see anything for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But that's become more relevant, hasn't it? Because it's your classic human reaction, which is when you get more, you use it. And so while we now have broadband, now we're pushing things down the pipe, which are high memory videos, high definition videos, you name it. So that's still relevant because slow is penalized by Google and slow is hated by users. So minimum download speeds, whilst then it would have been you need to get your whole web page downloaded in like 5 seconds or something. Now you can get away with like 15, 20 probably. My point is, no one waits for anything anymore. And then ease of use, which is a really generic term that I have no idea what that means, but he's got a couple of chapters on it when he explains it, and it's really simple things like, if it's something you do not enjoy when you use a website, that would be ease of use problems, like broken links, like light fonts on light backgrounds, can't see them properly. The classic one, which he talks about a lot, Jakob Nielsen, which is elaborate menu systems, pictures, not words, and things that have so much design value, they've actually lost their functional value. So you can be too design orientated, looking for things like that, what I'll call not vanity, but not far off. It looks beautiful, but it doesn't work very well. Simple beats complicated every time on the internet. So that's the home, right? Which is high value content, often updated, minimum download speeds. You can test all these things as a human, ask someone to use your website, use it yourself, and then run the software testing, which I've talked about before, ease of use. And then you've got the run element, which is a bit more complicated. So relevant to user need. That means you have a very targeted user group for your website. You don't try and appeal to everyone. Content has to be relevant. Usability has to be relevant to the person you are trying to speak to. If they are, what's the word? I can't think of a better way of putting it. If you're a kid, you're selling to children, of course you shouldn't, but if you were selling to advertising to children, then they have a different language they expect. They expect to see different types of content. Jakob Nielsen's website had no pictures and no video. It was just pure text. Terrible website. But for what he's talking about, I get it. It's relevant to the user need because the user is looking at usability. And if you just use text, it's so fast, it's unbelievable. It's the usability. What's the word? It's awful website, but usability wise, it's the benchmark. It's got no super fast, super easy, everything's text. So you've got relevant to user need, understand your customer. Then you've got the other one beginning with U, which I can't remember. I'll look it up in a minute. And then the one that I really do care about, which was N, which is net centric. It's his word, right? Net centric, which is doesn't matter how good your website is, doesn't matter how good your content is, doesn't matter how good any of it is on the internet. If your organization is not built to service internet orders, I come across that a lot, where you generate the business, you generate the leads, but actually your infrastructure and ability to service those leads is insufficient. So you don't respond fast enough, you don't take the inquiry seriously, you don't believe in what you're doing, and just assume it doesn't work. You haven't built an infrastructure which is net centric, which is all the components of the organization believe in the internet, believe in online sales, and believe that that is an opportunity. Because back then that was a bigger issue, because 20 years ago the idea of having a website was just, I must have a website, not what it can do. Now we all know what they can do. That doesn't mean everyone's bought into it. So you look for those things and you do the usability testing. Home, high value content, often updated, minimum download speed, ease of use. Run, relevant to user need. U for you forgot. And N, net centric business. Have a look around your organization and see how fast you respond to things, to see that you're able to service and deliver things, and that you're set up and that you have a culture of net centricness. Must remember what the U is. But anyway, it's a live stream, so I can't remember the U. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the notes. Can't have been important. See ya.